I'm gonna teach you how to do a backside big spin. So this is the trick right here. Roll up. The board does a 360, your body does a 180, and you're going the backside rotational turn. So I'm gonna take you through all the practice steps. I'm gonna tell you what to do. I'm gonna tell you what not to do. And you, at the end of this video, are gonna know exactly how to do a backside big spin. So before you even get started on this, there's a few tricks that you need to know. The first one is your most basic fundamental, the ollie. Don't even try and big spin if you can't ollie. Although I bet there is somebody in the world. There will be that one guy in the comments who says, I can't ollie, but I can big spin. The next one is backside 180. You want to get that motion down. You want to know what that feels like and how the landing feels like. Turn your upper body, pop the board, do the backside 180, like this. Fully rotated, boom. So the next trick is a pop shove it. You gotta have a good pop shove it, or good enough, good-ish. So you're gonna bend down, put your front foot right there, pop it, leave your front foot close to the board the whole time. That's your control point. And get the pop shove it. What a big spin is the board is doing a 360 and your body is doing a 180 and it's rotating the same direction. Because it's rotating the same direction, it does make it a little bit easier. So I'm gonna show you how you can kind of learn how to do this motion, and then we'll talk about what the front foot does, what the back foot does. So you can do this cheater step where you do a shove it and then you land on the nose and then you turn. I'll do that again, shove it, and then you turn that way. I'm doing it very slow, and you can start out doing it very slow too. Shove it, and then turn. With any 180 trick, it's always really important to understand what's your pivot point. So on this, the pivot point's always the front truck. On this one, it looks like that. So you can also just practice that single step. Go off the nose, pivot back that way. So here we go. We're gonna run, we're gonna put all that shove it in 180 together. Wow.
Failure.
I failed, and you'll do that too, I'm sure, sometimes. So now, what I'm doing is I'm doing a shove it, my upper body's turning, all my weight is going to the front foot, I'm landing on the nose, then I'm giving that pivot point. This is to get you feeling the motion of the backside big spin. Like that, shove it, and then a 180. Shove it, 180. One more time. So you do it fast, I mean, whatever. Some people in a game of skate, they count it, some people don't. I call this the backside slider, the Gabe Cruz special. Shove it, slider. Which is cool, and that's a trick in itself. But when you're going to the full big spin, it's totally different. Which brings me to the next piece of what your back foot is doing. Your back foot, essentially, is doing a 360 shove it, which is a whole nother really hard trick, honestly, in itself. Personally, I think 360 shove it is way harder. I think backside big spin is way easier than 360 shove it, so I wouldn't say you must learn that. But you should know that the back foot motion of a 3 shove is the motion, right? Because it always wants to spin on a 3 shove, so you gotta keep your front foot really close to it. Just like that. Right when I said it always wants to spin, boom. It did spin. I gotta get at least one good 360 shove it, just to demonstrate. Okay, good, we'll take that. So that is the motion of the back foot. The front foot is your control point. You want it close to the board the whole time. So your front foot is gonna be as close to that board as you can. You're gonna be turning backside the same direction as the board, and you're gonna start going around like this. And you want to get it all popped in the air, but if you don't, you still have your pivot point that you can rely on. So let's try and spin it all. Woo! So a good practice step for this, once you're ready and you got this little guy down, is you can jump, spin it, and you can step off with your back foot. See that? I'm getting the motion of the 360. My body's doing the motion of the 180. I'm nowhere near landing it yet, but I could be if I keep working on it. Like that. You get that motion down. So building up your skateboard ability, it's a matter of putting one practice step on top of another, and then putting it all together to get the full trick. Let's do it. Just like that. You want to practice this a lot. Boom. So you're feeling good with it. So you're feeling like, okay, I can put my back foot on there, nothing bad's gonna happen. Keep your knees bent. make sure you have the idea of what it feels like to do a backside 180. So the feeling of this trick and what's actually occurring is your body's doing a backside 180, your board is doing a 360 pop shove it all at the same time, and you're landing. But because your rotation is going the same way, it makes it quite a bit easier. So it actually flows really well. It's a lot easier than you would think, and it's a really good trick for a game of skate. And like always, you want to try and land with both of your feet on the bolts right there all the time. Another really helpful trick to backside big spin is to first learn it going fakie. So I'm right foot forward, so I'm pushing like that. So fakie would be going left foot forward and then going from this side. So you're already on your pivot point, which makes it very easy. So let's go, we'll do a little half cab on the pivot point, like that. And now we're gonna do a fakie shove it. So this would be like a fakie shove it and then a turn, right? Fakie shove it, then a pivot, like that. So essentially, same thing, you're doing all of those things together. Fakie is the absolute easiest way. You don't need to pop, you can pop, but you don't have to. You can just simply turn and do the shove it. Here's another good practice step. Turn, then shove. Either way, you could do shove, then turn, or turn, then shove. But I want you to get used to that motion of spinning with the board while you're doing the shove. And then you throw it all together, fully commit, bend your knees. Whoop.
You're still a failure.
And then throw it all together, fully commit, bend your knees. A little sketchy, but we got it. This is no pop, just spin. And then from there, you want to make it better, you throw in the pop. So I'm going to pop my foot down and give it some pop. One of my favorite tricks. It flows so well, it's nice and smooth. Very easy, great beginner trick. Great trick for beginner game of skate. Just roll it and pop the big spin. So from there, you can do the backside big spin. So it's actually the exact same motion. Fakie one and a regular one. You're doing the same thing. The only difference is the stance that you're going from. Woo! Some things that can go wrong with this trick is if you don't have your front foot close to that board, you're not controlling it as it spins, it'll spin up like this and you land primo. And then you go, fall. Or you don't get the full rotation and you land at a 90 and then you won't be able to land. If you do land at a 90 and you have your weight on your front foot, you can pivot it like this.
Subscribe.
That's the worst example possible, but a good example of what can go wrong. See, I totally missed the board with my front foot, trying to cheat it rather than just do the trick well. See that? Pivot, it's all in the pivot. Okay, so from there, it's more pop down, more lift up, and fully land it. This is a great trick. I know you guys got it. Get out there and learn it and have an absolute blast. We'll see you out there skating.